Maplecon 2025 was a huge scam for me and many others that went. You can see online like Reddit or YouTube or Twitter, wherever, basically, of people talking about this event, sharing that they were scammed, they didn't get items, they were in lines the whole time. It was not a good event overall. First, before I get into it, I just want to kind of talk about the pros. Chilling with my friends, like I met Dino Fries, who's a good MapleStory streamer, and my other friend Alex, and just kind of just meeting people in general, mostly in lines, and a lot of people share that same sentiment. One of the cool things is that me and my friends, we were actually the first people in the world to try the open classic MapleStory there in person at the event. So that was really cool, and we got some footage and pictures of that. I got to meet my streamer buddy, Dino Fry, so shout out to him. He's got a bunch of really cool videos talking about the event and just the balance of the new MapleStory Classic that's going to be coming out, so check out his stuff. And Avali, that was there, she is like the host for Maplecon. She was there for Maplefest as well. I've actually worked with her before for the OTK Expo for my indie game, and so she did an amazing job, so shout out to her. She brings a lot of energy, even to an awkward crowd that sometimes won't cheer, and she gets them to cheer. So I grew up with MapleStory. I was a huge Nexon fan. You know, I've been through it just like the rest of you. I've been playing since I was like 11, around 2001, I believe. So I was there through the thick and thin like the rest of you. I played the beta. You know, I was in Broa. I was a guild leader. I got to a pretty high level. I played as much as I could back then, even though a lot of times I didn't have internet. But when I could play, I played a lot. I grinded. My guild in Broa, Jedi, we were like the top ranked guild when GPQ was out for a very long time. We grinded GPQ, and I just made a lot of videos with my guild, and it's just, I have a lot of experience with that. Like one of my videos, like my YouTube third job hermit video has like 15,000 views on YouTube. So I didn't even know that, actually. I just checked. So I didn't know those videos were like kind of archived. And I made like the MapleStory music videos, the MMVs as well. So, you know, I was there when Dre 86 and all of them. So just kind of just talking to my experience of being a Mapler and kind of like understanding Classic, understanding GMS and how it changed and how a lot of us kind of stopped playing and all that. So I just want to kind of speak to those people that were on the same page as me, that were excited for Classic. You know, we stopped playing GMS. All of us in our 30s, we stopped because MapleStory just wasn't for us anymore, and we all kind of just grew out of it, I guess. So now that we're seeing all these classic games resurfacing and MapleStory Classic is coming out, you know, Our Tale came out, or Maple Lands that we're all excited for. I played that. I played private servers and, you know, got to level 150 plus and all that stuff. You know, made bishops and made a Night Lord and HP washed. I did the whole thing. I even worked at Nexon for about 3 years on a game that was canceled. So, and I didn't get free NX, by the way. I asked, and I volunteered at the first Maplefest when I was working at Nexon, which is like a really surreal experience. So, you know, I grew up playing MapleStory. I was like, finally, I got a job here at Nexon, and like, but I didn't get like any info when I was working in there. I talked to GMs in person, and they gave me some cool inside scoops as to being a GM in MapleStory. I got to meet Nemi and Inkwell and all of them. I even had like dinner with Nemi and the rest of the MapleStory team, and I was fanboying out. You know, I told Nemi, I was like, oh my god, like it's so cool to meet you, because I didn't know she was the main designer of MapleStory, or one of the main ones. You know, I've been going to Maplefest for a few years now, up until last year, and then this year was Maplecon. So I work in the game industry, like I mentioned. I worked at Nexon, and I worked at other companies like Epic Games. And MapleStory, growing up playing that game, is honestly one of the reasons why I work in the industry. I also credit like Zelda, and I did a bunch of fan art for that as well, like the Majora's Mask Terrible Fate thing. This game just means a lot to me, and I've been let down by it a lot through my life. You know, when the maintenance will pop up, 4-hour maintenance, and then the 4 hours is over, you hop back online to play more, and they're like, oh, JK, 8 more hours, and then that'll happen again and again. So we all go play Gunbound or, you know, something else to kind of pass the time during maintenance. So it's weird to be a part of these events, and it still happens in person. And the previous Maplefests were not really like this. Like, they were definitely kind of like felt under budget, kind of you know, a little like weird, but they didn't feel like a scam or anything like that. They just felt like underprepared, and we all agreed that these were like the first events. I even made like a few things, like in a college, I made a 3D Doombringer for one of my classes for like a homework assignment, and I'm making a fighting game too, and one of my characters is a ninja, so I gave him throwing star, so I gave him an Illaby to kind of reference Maple Story and just kind of throw back to that and play homage to it. All right, so the lines when we were there, first off, when we get there an hour early, we're in line, we're waiting forever, about an hour, and then luckily my friend Dino Fries, like he was closer to the front, so we went up to him and, you know, kind of scooted in with him and some of his friends that were there. So I'm glad he was there because I know a lot of people were kind of waiting there for like hours just to get in. So we get our bags, we go in. I'm missing a few items, by the way. We head straight to the merch. Like they are funneling us to the merch store. That's already kind of funny already, is like go in and buy more stuff. And so, okay, like we're all in, we're all excited to like buy stuff. So they tell us to scan this QR code. They give us like this little card with a number, like a QR code or something on it. We didn't actually use that for anything. I don't even know what it was for. So we scan this QR code. It brings us to the store. We start buying items. It's all there. It's all available because me and our friends we're all the first people in. And also on the store, like when you were to sign in, it didn't. We all put in this little QR code thing. It didn't work. And then like everybody was rushing to like the staff there, and we're like, what do we do? The thing's not working. And there's like a secret like tab you had to press that brought up like Q1 or Q2. I'm not really sure what they were, but they worked. And like people clicking Q1 or Q2 ended up being like a huge thing where it like put your order in later or earlier. I'm not really sure, but we all buy our stuff and we go up to wait in line because like being a premium member, you're supposed to have gotten in line earlier. And I got the premium thing, by the way. It was like $270+, I forget. So already a lot of money. Like Blizzard, BlizzCon is like what, 200 and like same price for a 3-day event. And for Maplecon, we got a 1-hour event. It was from like 9 to 5, something like that. And those of us that were there, like from 8 to 5, basically, if we got in early, which we didn't. So we get in line to get our merch, and they're like, okay, there's miscommunication everywhere. They're telling us to get in line and wait, or wait for a text, and we never got that text. So we were waiting there for an hour. This is from we ordered at 9:37, and we were waiting in line for a while. So then we get to the front, and we're like, okay, our merch must be ready, right? So it's not. And they tell us to wait for a text and just come back when we get that text. We're like, okay, cool, I can trust the system. But me growing up with Nexon, I'm just like, I don't know, I don't feel right about this. I feel like they're gonna do a thing where they back up, things are gonna go wrong, and they're gonna give all of our stuff that we paid for. They're gonna hopefully reimburse it or refund it, basically, which did happen actually in some sort of way. But I kind of knew from experience with being a Nexon person, both playing or working there, that like it can go wrong. So we're going around, like we go and play the beta, and like we're the first people to play basically. And that was cool. Like the beta went off like with no problems. Like we got in very quickly. We actually got in a little early. They let us in like 8 minutes early because beta started at like 10 a.m. So we play. It was 15 minutes. It's really quick. We just kind of like spammed skills to see like, or we opened the skill window to see what was different, and like we did a quick KPQ run, which is fun. It was great. So after that, we're like, okay, cool. What else is there? We're already kind of like worried because the event kind of really, it's bigger than Maplefest last year, but it's not really much bigger. And there's not really like anything there. So we're going around and we are looking for something to do because we've already done the merch line, we've done the beta, and the next thing up was the tote bag and the custom tote bag with the gacha. So by that time, the line was about 2 hours long, and this line is like going out the door, like out, and it's just going. So I thought there was a break in the line where I was like, oh, that's the end. Like, nope, it's down the hall, around the corner, and like across the street. Basically, it was a long line. So of course we're all like, no, we're not gonna get in line. We're not gonna wait 2 hours for a tote bag. And like we also find out in the same breath that the gacha is broken as well too. So we're like, well, what's the point? So we go to this like arcade room. There's nothing on the walls. There's nothing Maple Story related. It's like there's this photo booth. There's like these punching bags. Then there's like one of those games that you catch the pegs that fall down, but they're like kind of branded, but like very rickety. Like they're like falling apart. A bunch of the pegs were missing eventually on that like reaction game, and it was just a definite like joke for branding just in general. I looked at like the Maplecon Korea and just saw like the presentation they had for what happened over there, and just like, geez, I think that actually like looks an event. You know, there's There's statues, there's like posters, there's just big marketing images like all over the place. It's immersive. Maplecon LA was like the most unimmersive thing I've ever been to. It's basically like that ball pit con basically, or like a fire festival. Honestly, some person on Reddit posted like a fire festival joke about Maplecon, so I thought that was like perfect. It just felt like a big like weird like underprepared scam. So it was just like interesting to like see that and feel that and just be like, why don't I feel like I'm at like a MapleStory event? So some weird things are like, I read that if you do a chargeback, they're going to ban you until you basically pay it back. I saw that on Reddit. I don't know if that's true, but like it kind of just deters you from wanting to do a chargeback because I feel like we paid for something and we didn't get what we paid for other than like going to the con and experiencing this con. But we were realistically in lines. A lot of us didn't get our items. A lot of people bought merch, ended up not getting that merch and getting like a refund for that stuff. And I don't even know if people got refunds. So I also found out that people were duping their items from the merch store basically because the systems were all down at a certain point. Like we were waiting for hours to get our merch. And when it got to my turn, basically, I'm like, here's my order. And he's like, oh, can I take your phone and like go back with it? Because it has like all my stuff that I bought there. So he went back and like got all my items and brought them back. And luckily I got everything. I got all my items. I know I was seeing that people were actually like duping their orders and getting double their stuff. One guy like sent a screenshot to his friend and was like, hey, can you pick up my order for me? Like I gotta go. And so the friend did. He went and got his stuff, but the guy that sent the screenshot, he also like went up and got his merch because like he's like, oh, I guess he just didn't follow up with his friends. But they got the same order twice, and it's because the staff there were not like prepared or told what to do basically. So they were giving out extra items without confirmation of like what was actually bought or like a order number, even though it was all there. Like if you scrolled up a little bit, you can see the order number. So I know that happened a lot. That's very easy to exploit. And I didn't think of it, but like, yeah, if you want free stuff and you wanted to dupe your items, basically, Maplers will do that, basically. So that's like super uncool. I found out later that like security was not up and doing their job like at all later on. They definitely wanted me down. People were like going in with backpacks later on, not getting scanned. I was looking at Stoops' video. He's talking about like his video friend that had a backpack full of equipment and they just didn't scan him. So like, what if the dude had a gun or a bomb? I don't know. That's really scary, especially with what's going on with like TwitchCon and just people do stupid shit. So they got to be more careful. So just the security not being up to date or actually doing their job, that's not okay. Definitely not cool. Doesn't make me want to go to future events like that ever again. There was a badge pickup the day before on the Friday. So they went and got their badges, sure, but it was literally for no reason. They didn't get to the front of the line. They didn't get to get in early. They didn't get to the merch line early like the rest of us. It didn't mean anything. So I'm glad I didn't do that. So I was talking about the merch line and getting in line and having to scan a QR code to get to the shop. So since we were there earlier and we did get in a bit earlier than most people, I guess that someone shared that QR code and it just worked outside of the venue. There was nothing stopping people from doing that. So I get why it happened. So people that were not in the convention yet, they were like in line. They were just buying up everything in the store. So those of us that were in there to scan the QR code and buy our items, we thought we thought there was a limited items basically. So like, okay, cool. We're in early. We get to buy the items early. So then the store sold out like immediately, basically when it happened. So the premium just didn't mean anything. Like we didn't get in early. We didn't get our merch first. I don't know what the point of premium was. I really don't. So for premium members, again, I don't really know what we got other than like the purple vinyl, which is cool in itself. But they sold more platinum badges than the general access badges. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I know that the general access badges, they sold out faster, and then the platinum badges, they just sold more of. I don't know. But we didn't get to skip the line. We got there first because we were close to the front, but we didn't benefit from it in any sort of way. And a big part of like the scam or just kind of being conned by this whole thing is that so a lot of us didn't get our items. Like a lot of people didn't get like this green raffle ticket that went with their bag. I didn't. I had to like go back to the staff and be like, hey, what's this green ticket? I don't want to miss out on like getting the silver coin thing. I'm also missing this notebook that it came with. It would have been cool to have it, but I don't have it. So they're already denying refunds. There's people that have put in tickets. I currently put in a ticket, and they just said like, just please be patient, and we're sorry, basically. So this was definitely another line con. It happens a lot at these kind of conventions, especially when they're unprepared. So like I get it, but they've already done like 4 Maplefest or 3. And they could have just been a lot better, especially if they're doing these conventions in Korea too, which look like they have a lot higher budget. They are way more prepared. It just kind of sucks. So the tote bag line, that was like 2 or 3 hours long. The gacha was broken, and they also run out of tote bags, of course. But later on, they like had another box full of tote bags, and they were just kind of handing them out to people as they were exiting after the last panel. And also, since people were in the merch line waiting for their merch, these panels are still happening. So there's like people that are on their phone watching Twitch, listening to like the raffle numbers whenever they do them, because we're all like in the merch line. We're stuck. We can't be in 2 places at once. So we're all in line. We're all on our Twitch, like listening to our phones like this because it's really loud, and we're listening to the raffle numbers and checking our raffle and trying to make sure that we didn't miss out on a chance to get that silver coin. It also took people like 3 hours to get into the event, which I heard that really sucks. The lines were just going out the door, like 2 hours plus. There's no incentive to get into any of these lines at all. That was like really just kind of deterred me and a lot of people. So I definitely waited like 1/3 of the convention just in lines. And I know a lot of other people waited a lot longer than I did, because I didn't get in the tote bag line. I didn't bother. I went around and played the beta a couple more times, and I went to the arcade and played like 1 or 2 games. I did the picture. So it just, I don't know. Even those weren't, there was just like, there's nothing to do. Once we did those things, like, okay, I guess we'll just kind of go to the panels and see how that was. Even the food truck lines, those just went out the way around the corner, super long lines. People are ordering, they're getting in line to order, then they go and wait for their food in another line too. So like just so many different lines. I feel really bad for people that like flew here, they got hotels, they paid for the platinum badge to get in early or get merch early, renting a car. Who knows what they did to get here, but I know that they spent a lot more money than me, because you're also spending money in the merch line too. And I can't imagine how they feel. Like I live over here in California, so it was easy for me to get there. It just sucked that so many people had such a rough experience, and there's a lot of people online who are like, oh, well, you should have known better. Like Nexon did a Nexon thing. Like, yeah, I mean, we all had that thought too, but we went and we paid for it and we were hoping for something better. So like, you can't trash on people that went because they were excited and they weren't hurting anybody. They were trying to help, and like they do support Nexon, but it does kind of suck to kind of get shot in the foot again, especially in real life this time. I've never been like this upset about something. I'm making a video about it. I don't make videos on this stuff. So anyway, yeah, it definitely feels like a huge just scam. I feel like doing like a chargeback or something like that should be valid. If you pay for something, you should get that thing. I paid for premium. I didn't get in early. I didn't get into the merch line early. I didn't get my merch on time. I almost missed getting my merch because I went in around like 3 o'clock to get my merch right before the last panel. And I'm missing items that I was supposed to get as well. So like, it's like, what else can it be? We paid for something, we didn't get it. It's pretty clear, right? So, and I don't want this whole thing to be completely negative. Like I'm still excited for Classic. I'm still going to play. I'm excited with the direction that they're going to be going with Classic, that they're going to change it a little bit. Like it's an alternate universe where they like went down a different path of what the Classic is going to be. I'm glad that they're getting rid of a lot of stuff like HP washing, and I'm hoping that they're not going to have like the bishop meta of like leeching and paying for leeching to level. And like we did that mostly for like HP washing kind of thing. But yeah, I'm excited for Classic, and you know, we're all in this together. We've been all hurt by Nexon one way or another, whether it be just through the game itself or in person now. And I just really hope that they do better, and I hope that they do something about this. They definitely should give partial refunds for this, because it was a really bad experience. It really was. The only thing that made it good was just hanging out with my friends, getting dinner after hanging, and just talk about Maple, talk about Classic, and like what we're excited for. Yeah, so that's it. That's really all I want to say. Go wishlist my game, Combo Devils, and we're going to be on Kickstarter soon. So, all right, bye.